What up, motherfuckers?
And fatherfuckers.
And father.
We accept all.
All inclusive here. I'd like to introduce you to a homie of mine named Chai. He's also part of the Hybrids Dance family. He's done a few shows with us, actually.
Yeah, I've done percussion on a couple shows, playing cajon, this bad boy right here, and I've done lighting design and general dancing here and there.
Yeah. Still doing dope percussion on some pretty sick shows. Y'all got to check him out. Follow him if you can. He was also part of a band named Follow back in the early 2000s. You may have heard of him.
Maybe not. But you're going to.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
That's what this mini doc is all about. Has a really powerful message. It's all about family. And I hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Salil, Navi, Mordecai, Samara, Naima. This is for you guys, and just we wanted to tell some stories. You know, Abdon was like a brother to us, and we have a lot of stories. We can only tell some of them, of course.
Some are
you know, for later.
Some are PG-13.
Not that they're bad. They're not bad. I'm Jeff, and I was the singer and percussionist in the band.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
My name's Casey. I played guitar.
Casey and I first decided to start a band. You know, we just had these hopes and dreams of, you know, we just got into music. We both played guitar, right?
Well,
like we kind of did.
I had a bass.
Yeah. And then I decided I was horrible at guitar, so I thought, well, why don't I just sing and you could play guitar? And so then we went and, you know, we went to West Mesa High School, and we heard of this drummer, you know, that was amazing. But I asked him to be in our band, which really wasn't like a full band, but I mean, we had 2 members at least. So he said, yeah, that'd be cool, you know, but why don't you come to our practice? Because I'm already like kind of in a band. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess. I mean, so I went and started, you know, his band was called Seal of Fate, and you know, had Carl and Richard in there, and so I started singing, and you know, went that route. He and Carl kind of got Richard out of the picture, and I said, well, I mean, I know a guy, and that was this guy right here.
When I first saw Abdon or met Abdon, I thought, I mean, I just thought he was a cool person, a cool dude. I saw him, you know, you see him and you're like, man, that's a cool guy. You know, he's a musician. He just looked cool. I mean, as goofy as that sounds. But when Abdon asked us to go over, and it was at Richard's house, I think, the first time, and they were jamming out, man, I was so pumped. I was excited. And I was nervous because I thought I was going to get to play, but, you know, they already were playing, and I was like, okay. And then I was watching Richard and Carl and Abdon, and then Jeff was singing. I was like, man, these guys are talented guys, you know, they're good musicians. And I was like, holy crap, I have a long ways to go before I start trying to play guitar in a band. And I remember I bought my first like badass guitar. It was an Ibanez with the Floyd Rose, and you know, I thought it was gonna be like this shredder and all this goofy stuff. So I bought my guitar and I had to leave it back home, and I went to visit my dad for the week. And I remember getting a phone call, and I don't remember if it was when I was in Arizona or if I was coming back or when, but I got a phone call and they were like, hey Casey, you're in the band. And I was like, what? And then I got so pumped, I was excited, I was blown away. And I was like, all right, let's do this. We were practicing at Carl's house. And that's a whole nother gaggle of fun there with Carl's dad, Tony, and everything, you know, rest in peace, Tony. So I showed up and, you know, they're trying to teach me songs from Seal of Fate and all this, and man, I suck. I really suck. So Abdon steps in because he is a damn talented musician, damn talented human being. And I have to say, Abdon, if it wasn't for him, I would never have been the guitarist that I am. I would never have learned what I have learned. I would not have been pushed the way I was pushed. And he took the time to work on each riff and each song and everything with me because he knew it all. He knew all the songs, he knew everything, and he took his time and he was very patient with me. He was very calm. He was such a great dang teacher. He basically was kind of like the director that oversaw things.
He really was. Yeah.
And he always was because he had such a good ear, such a good eye, and he was able to play pretty much every instrument that he put his hands on. I mean, bottom line.
He could do everything.
And
he could sing.
You know, it's funny because I wish like I could have pushed him in different directions because I mean, we were a band, but I was into different styles of music sometimes than the guys were, and I'd always try to kind of like influence Abdon or like give him different music. I was like, hey, let's try to play like this, you know, but he'd always kind of go back to how he felt. And from there, you know, he worked with me, and yeah, I mean, I went home and I practiced my ass off. You know, we started, you know, playing music, and that's how I got started. And if it wasn't for Abdon's, first off, his talent, his motivation that, you know, with the band and with music, and with his overall just patience with me and everyone, I mean, I would not have become the guitarist or the musician I am, you know, and I owe a lot to him because of that. So, I mean, that's the story of how that band got formed.
At Carl's house, you know, that was, like he said, a whole nother, there's a lot of stories of that place. We had these egg cartons set up everywhere, and we soundproofed the heck out of this room. It was his grandma's house. Carl's dad wanted to be our manager, and so he would make us practice. He had like really strict guidelines for us, and
we had protocols, man.
Oh, he was intense, and he loved us, but he would push us to our brink. One time we were practicing, and we had Casey's car there at the time, and we decided to gather a bunch of tree branches, and we put them all over Casey's car. We wanted to cruise central and try to pick up chicks, ladies, with tree branches all over the car. I mean, everywhere, sticking out of the windows, all the, like the trunk, everywhere. And Abby thought it would be, we were all done decorating this crazy camouflage car, and he thought it would be a good idea to take a tube sock and put it over the license plate. And we were done. That was the finishing touch. We were good to go. We started going through and going on Central and waving at ladies. They were horrified. They were just like looking at us like we were crazy. And then some sirens, behind us appeared, and the cops pulled us over. And all of a sudden, we pulled off the street. Who was driving?
I was driving.
You were driving? So all of a sudden there were like, how many cop cars? 6?
There was a lot of cop cars,
and they
a lot of guns.
appeared out of nowhere, and they told us, get out of your car. And they had like big guns.
Oh,
I don't know what kind, but
this was before Albuquerque Police Department was the kinder, gentler department they are now, right? This was kind of scary. They had guns drawn. They said to get the heck out of the car. There's a lot of explicit words. Bad stuff was said.
Yeah, and I was so afraid because I saw like little army ants because they said get on the ground, put your hands behind your back, get on the ground, and I was like, but there's ants. They're like, they didn't even care about the ants, of course. But
they don't care about ants.
Abby got out and he pulled his pants up. That's all he did. He got up and just like, just got out of the car and went like that, pulled his pants up, and they freaked out. They were like, get on the floor. They had the guns out on him. They had him to our heads, and we were so terrified, and all I could see are little ants crawling toward my face.
Oh, we were scared. And then they got us all up. They sat us up. They sat us on the curb, hands behind our back.
Realized they thought it was a stolen car.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
And then they realized it wasn't. They didn't even apologize to us.
No.
They just told us to get the hell in the car
We
and
didn't
get out
even
of here.
get tickets or anything. We just got a warning. But then later that same day, we get pulled over again for
I was speeding.
You were speeding by one of the same cops that was there.
And he was pretty
he was like, okay, he still didn't even give you a ticket.
No,
did
he didn't give me a ticket, and he just was.
He's like, oh, since I already saw you guys and you're probably having a rough day by now, I'll just.
I think he felt pretty guilty for pulling a gun on us earlier that day.
Yeah, probably.
So, let's talk about the moral of this story real quick, okay?
Right.
So, yeah, we're goofball high school kids.
It's
true. We should not have been doing what we were doing. So, I mean, in retrospect, let's,
ladies don't even like that.
Yeah, don't do stupid stuff like that. And,
don't cover the license plate.
And if a cop asks you to get out, don't reach for your pants and pull him up like Abdon did, because the cops were on him pretty intensely.
So we were called Seal of Fate, and then it was Soma, and then it was Follow. We were with Carl, who was our bass player at first, and then Artie.
I love you. Oh, safety range, safety range.
Then we got Travis in the band. Travis is the one that came up with the name Follow, and these guys were just all great guys. And Travis hurt his hand, and we had to unfortunately move on without him. We met Corey.
My name's Corey, and I was the bassist in the band.
He was just this
cute
young kid. We made him grow up really fast.
We had to get permission from his parents to play with us sometimes because
Right.
he was young.
Corey, what are you doing?
You dog. I can't believe you're filming this, dude. You'll put some website. My dad will fucking see it.
He was 4 years younger, but that was a big deal then.
Yeah.
So, and he was funny. He was like a total jazz background.
Great musician. My
Oh
God.
yeah, for sure.
Corey's a great musician. Let me see the good stuff, Corey. Abdon, myself, and Jeff.
We would listen to Alice in Chains or Jeff Buckley or whatever it was, and he just, or Floater, you know, he would just know all the fills and all the different parts, you know, just like nail it on the drums. Just, I was like, what, how do you know what the drummer's gonna do? Like, cause it's so random every time. Like, how do you even, how can you possibly know? Anyway, I was just blown away. Like, what his knowledge of music was just incredible.
The thing is you can't teach that. You can't.
Right.
You can't learn that by taking a class or anything.
Right. Joey, the guy that recorded us, Joey Belleville, he tried to get Abby to use a click track, and he hated it.
Sir, leave me alone, please. I'm going to play my DWs.
He just created his own rhythm. It was always perfect. It was like spot on. He didn't even need a click track. It just, he was a walking metronome.
But even if he was off a little bit, I mean, the rawness of it is
you knew what he was going to do.
Well, what you appreciate. I mean,
yeah.
You know, and that's my frustration with the click track. I mean, trying to play so perfect within the studio. I get it. You want to make something perfect to put down, but at the same time too, I mean, I truly appreciate the rawness of a band. I mean, when I listen to music and I can hear, you know, like a little mistake here or whatever, I mean, God, I dig that. I mean, it's cool because it just shows that they're like us.
It's not overly processed.
It's not overly processed. It's real music.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's really cool. So I'm gonna kind of talk about, you know, we talked about recording and the recording process with Joey and not using the click track and that, and then I just remember, because we were discussing it, the song we did at Stepbridge Studios.
Yeah, the last song we recorded.
Yeah, the last song we recorded, oh my God, it was amazing. I mean, it was such a great opportunity, and we were very lucky to record there, and the song came out great, and Abdon did great. It was.
Listen to the drums on that track. And he did a voice part on that song.
Oh
too.
yeah, he did.
And I couldn't do it. He was like, just do this, ooh.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I'm trying, but he was like, no, Daddy. So he just did it.
Do you remember when we were in California and we went to the ocean for the first time? Or it wasn't the first time.
Was that his first time?
It was Abdon's first time ever seeing the ocean. I remember we were
Yeah.
all goofing around and being a bunch of assholes basically, and Abdon was standing there like taking it in, and he started crying. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me, dude. And you know, and I guess the thing is we take a lot of things for granted sometimes, you know, and it just puts things into perspective. And you know, for a grown man, because that's what we were grown men, we were young men, to see the ocean and for it to be so meaningful for someone and for them to actually be emotional about it.
What are you doing? Look me. Sean, get it.
But I just remember that specific thing and how much it touched him to witness that and to be there and experience that. And you know, that was one aspect of the whole trip. I mean, there was a lot of cool things that happened. I don't know which trip that was.
That was the Chico trip. We were in Sacramento, Chico, you know, we went through Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
All that.
Do you remember we opened up for that freaking death metal band, Kettle
Yeah, that was in
Decapitation?
Santa Cruz. Wow, and they were pretty
They're good. They're
popular.
huge now.
Yeah.
They're huge.
We didn't know who they were,
Yeah.
but we're like, Cattle Decapitation. It's kind of mean.
It's a great Great name, man. And they were vegans.
Cows are so nice.
I think they were a vegan death
vegans.
metal band. Yeah, because I remember talking to them.
I'll have to tell Jay's story. Jason was, you know. So we were on the road, and Jason, it was like he lived with Casey and I before the whole band lived together, because, you know, all of us did live together in a house. Then we had a basement to play in, and it was a lot of great times at that house. And Stephanie was there too, of course. And we were driving, and Jason was like our artist, basically, like our just friend. He was always on tour with us. He'd work the booth, and, you know, he was just a goofball. You know, he drew up a lot of flyers. We'll probably show you. You know, he hand drew them, and so Abby was driving, and Jason was in the passenger seat, and Abby started freaking out because there was a bee in the van. And he was like, dude, I'm allergic to bees. And so Jason started swatting the bee, and eventually it fell onto his lap. You know, van was kind of going a little crazy, and it fell on Jason's lap and it stung him. So he took one for the team, you know, got stung for Abby. Another really funny story. Well, so we weren't always nice to Abby. I mean, sometimes we liked to prank. It was mostly pranking Jason, of course, because he would always fall asleep first, and we'd draw all over his face and do all that. But Abby was asleep one time when we were just getting back into town, and we saw this semi. You know, a semi was towing another semi, so the semi that was being towed was facing us. Abby was asleep, so we drove up really close to this semi, and it was facing us. And we just screamed at the top of our lungs and scared the crap out of him. He woke up and he screamed. He was horrified. And you know, I feel bad, but you know, we just did that. We're like brothers. I mean, it's just what you do. You know, it was a good prank.
And that was when we were together as Follow, and our band was doing well. And, you know, we just got done, you know, recording our album, and we were starting to tour, and we were having a good time and doing all that stuff. And that was such a great time, and we had fun. And I remember, I feel like, I mean, Abdon and Corey really connected, and they clicked on specific levels. And then, I mean, we all had our own little relationships with each other, you know. I mean, obviously Jeff and I grew up together, and then, you know, Corey came in, and then, you know, I felt like Corey was like a younger brother of ours, you know.
He lives in Chicago. That's why he's not here right now. He hadn't seen you for a long time. He hadn't seen Corey for a really long time. And so I told him I wanted to come by the shop. We surprised him with, you know, the whole band. And he lit up like, oh, I've never seen him, you know.
Yeah, and he had a damn freaking crocodile or an alligator or caiman or something
he did.
in the
He had an
shop.
alligator.
I was like, what in the world?
He was so happy to see us.
Having someone like Abdon around us, and having, you know, such a loving, caring person that was so patient, that basically had such a huge love and aspiration and motivation for music and artwork and just
us,
just people and family. You know, and it's funny because you always think that you have tons of time, you have plenty of time. You know, hey, you know what? I'm gonna hit him up one day. I'm gonna call him, and you know, everything's gonna be good. And I'm gonna call this person. You know, we have plenty of time. You know, and before you know it, you know, the people you think that you can still make connections with or whatever. I mean, it's too late. And, you know, what I've learned from this situation story is like, first off, I cherish my relationships and I cherish my friendships, and these memories are going to stick with me forever. But second off, I'm going to try, just from learning from all this, to be a little bit better when it comes to trying to make connections and not waiting. And I think, you know, that's something that we can all learn from this is, you know, I have all these amazing, great stories and these cool things that have shaped me into the human and the person that I am today. And, you know, a lot of it I can attribute to being friends with people like Abdon, people like Jeff.
It smells like piss outside.
Film that wall too, those bricks.
We just wanted to share these stories with you guys. I can't even express how much we loved your dad, you know.
Jeff, this is wasted minutes that we're sitting on your couch watching this thing right now, and here you are with your camera filming these stupid flowers.
Quit hating.
You should make a song like that.
We want sushi. We want sushi. And Jeff on the keyboards.
Hey, why don't you make a recording now?
I want sushi. Look at that, Jeff. You're not filming. Oh, were you recording that?
He's recording you the whole time.
Is that the?
You're all fucking spazzing